back to my channel. My name is Tash, aka ZIMbarbieAN, and this is a safe space on the internet where we like to converse about different topics. I don't think I need to do introductions. We know y'all.
My name is Dennis. I have a YouTube channel. If you go into the link, like first comment.
Oh, wow.
That's what I woke up for.
So the topic for today, yes, do check out Dennis' channel, but the topic for today is sex.
Okay.
Let's say that. So there was a video that came out recently on Twitter about someone who was saying, I'm a virgin, you know, and then the person that they were with, who's like some kind of pastor, I think, was saying, you know, I never thought that I'd be blessed to be with a virgin. I'm not, but thank you, Lord, for not overlooking me in this blessing of being with a virgin. And it made me wonder. So the first question that I have is, what do you think the virtues of virginity are, Bims?
Wow. Hi, guys. I think one word that comes to mind is maybe purity.
Okay.
Yeah, like, I think people have got a way of, I don't know, like, you know, because I've gone through so much in my life and I've found someone so pure. It's like a symbolism. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I think as humans, we're always chasing after, you know, attachment and you know, attachments become symbolisms and so purity. That's I'll just keep that purity.
What is it?
What context?
Yeah, like what does it mean to be
pure?
What is purity?
Spiritually, emotionally, physically.
Yeah, like in that's what I found my virgin and she's pure. She's never been touched. I think it's all ego. That's another thing. Yeah, you know, because people think it's a thing. Like I'm saying, it's a thing. Like she's pure.
What are the virtues of virginity, Dennis? As a practicing virgin yourself.
Exactly. I think maybe the biggest one would be the lack of comparison. And like quite honestly, I do wish that I had done that. Because then you just don't have anything to compare to. You know what I mean? And that can hold you back.
Yeah. Okay. And yourself?
Very tricky. I don't know. I suppose virginity, so purity, yes, but I think in the context of, specifically in the context of anything physical, right? So like in terms of like the physical aspects of what a relationship would be, right? So like not having had sex, any form of sex, right? I think for me, in my mind at least, that's the biggest, I suppose, pillar of what virginity is.
Because when I posed the question, like on Twitter, someone actually replied and they said that the virtue of it would be the ability to show that you have some kind of discipline. So being able to maintain virginity, especially in this world where there's so much of like a sex push, is like a show of discipline. And then there were other comments in that video that I'm talking about that said that you won't have any, outside of the lack of comparison, no toxic attachment.
Yes.
So, for example, once you've been with some raggedy ass dude, story time in the
story time in the comments.
There is a toxicity that you then bring into other relationships. So I guess I see the blessing of it. However, what interested me in that video was that the woman said, I'm a virgin. Right. Yes, I used to be promiscuous in my past because I did everything but. So I don't know what she did.
I was thinking that as well. I was really thinking that. Like, let's go there. Like, really, let's go there.
She didn't go into depth, but does that count?
No. But remember, we're talking about the idea of no comparisons and discipline, right? And what tells you that someone has more discipline than doing everything else but sex consistently for that long? Because it means like you're consistently...
bro.
Actually, that's even worse.
That's even worse. That's your virginity.
it's a strategy. Like I'm gonna do everything else. I'm gonna explore. I'm gonna do this and that. But then because one day I want to use this as my joker.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah. So no, I think that's actually worse.
And actually, Dennis, to your point, what level of doing everying but for the sake of being able to say I'm a virgin shows your
indiscipline
and liking of things. You're actually scary.
Let's be real for a second.
You're actually scary.
Honestly.
Walking into a hotel room and you're chained.
But not having sex. But here's the thing, right? If you were to say, like, being a virgin from my house right now, you know, it's pretty easy. You know, like without the temptation. It gets harder when I decide to go out. And now I'm interacting with people. It gets even harder when I decide to take those people back to my house to go watch a movie, and we're still not planning on doing anything. Bro, now we're taking off clothes. And we're still going to say this is where we draw the line.
Honestly, I don't think that's special, right? Because I've been in situations like that where like you get to that point and then nah, Jack.
Regina Brothers.
No, wasn't that. I honestly just said no. I was like, Jack, let's not do that, right? I don't think that's special, bro. For me, what discipline honestly is being able to go into those situations and interactions, like I'm not going to do that stuff, right? I'm not interested in doing those things. Those are against my principles. Because you could be sucking dick every day of the week, and then on Sunday you want to tell me you're a virgin.
No. And like on the video. Do you know what the video said? And it goes exactly to Dennis's point. One of the comments was like, do you know how evil you have to be to gaslight God and think that you can get him on a technicality? Right?
But I think that's also the part of that conversation is, obviously there's a religious aspect to it, right? So where you're like, I'm trying to keep my virginity for the sake of my practice. And yes, then it becomes a technicality on what the virginity, like, there's a physical component for women, right? To your virginity. So that's a real thing, regardless of whether there's a technicality or not. If it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not. So,
but then because we're trying to define virginity as a whole, and if you're going to look for loopholes to then satisfy yourself and also orgasm and enjoy your sexuality, then you're no longer a virgin. I'm defending my
question, right? Because
so you're no longer pure. If you're going to engage in sexual activity except for penetration and then call it out as being a virgin, I think we're not looking at it.
So you're saying it's orgasm? Because you can do that in your sleep without talking to anyone if you're a man.
But I just didn't touch on orgasm.
I have a question, right?
For sexual activity.
So there is a sect,
including dreams.
and I know like specifically American Christianity. Right, there's a sect where butt stuff is okay, right? Because it's not vaginal penetration, right? So you can do anal, you can do all of that other stuff, right? But as long as there's no vaginal penetration, you are still a virgin.
Where is this?
In the States. Oh God, I swear.
But
honestly, so where does that then come into what you are saying?
Right. You're in my technicality.
I know.
Yes, I agree that is the point that I'm making. And I'm saying, if you define your virginity as penetration, then you're a virgin if there's no penetration that's taken place.
Okay, so off of that, is your definition then of virginity subjective?
No, it's not. There's an actual definition in the dictionary. It probably says penetrative sex, right? Like, you guys are trying to turn it into other things, but like the actual thing has a definition. Like, words have meanings.
No, so I can penetrate your mouth and your eyes, and that's okay.
Yeah,
I can penetrate your mind. No, I said your mouth. You can penetrate my mouth and my behind. And I'm still a virgin.
You're lying.
Sheila, it's because we're not being vocal about it.
At what point did you decide that the mouth was the problem? Why was it not the ear? So if I penetrate your ear, you're no longer a virgin.
I have questions about that.
Penetration is a real.
Okay. Jack.
Not Urban Dictionary, please. Let's go Oxford.
Okay, actually, it is about whether you've been in the vagina or not.
Okay.
Outside of that, next question. Do you believe?
Yeah.
Okay, so my next question is: do you believe in soul ties from sex? I'll start with you, Peter.
No.
No.
Right. I don't think. I don't think just like outright having sex with someone once then necessarily generates a soul tie. What I do believe it does exist is that if that is part of an emotional relationship, because the sex then becomes a component of your bond with that person. And I think through that there can be an aspect of that, yes. But I don't think if you just sleep with someone today, then all of a sudden you are tied to them.
Yeah. You inherit all their trauma. What a wow.
But that's what Twitter says.
Twitter's not a real place. We've established that on this show.
Okay, so my question would be, Bims, actually. Would you date a sex worker?
Oh, hell no. I don't know.
Why not?
I know STIs.
No, but that's an assumption. Say someone who is very professional about their business and they get tested and they make sure all the safeguards are there, etc.
I think mentally I wouldn't be able to take it. Like, I'm dating someone who I know, you know, I mean, sex workers, please don't come at me. You know, like,
they're not going
more power to you. No, more power to you, whatever. But I don't think I'll be comfortable dating a sex worker because, I mean, my own insecurities, just thinking this is how you make your money, and you know I have to trust you. You have to go out there and sleep with multiple people, or maybe one person to make money, then come back, and we're supposed to have an emotional, sexual connection. I think that would be difficult for me. Yeah.
Is it different if it's not necessarily like, you know, having sexual interactions with people, but like OnlyFans?
I mean, you know, make your bag and OnlyFans, like, you know, if it's the bag aspect of it, I think I can tolerate it to a small extent, but still to a large extent, I'm still very much uncomfortable. Yeah, no, I'm not, because then, you know, in every relationship there are expectations. Then maybe you learn something out there that I just cannot, you know, fathom or just accept. Then you're trying to also download it on me, like, let's do this, babe, let's do that, because you should be comfortable with this, me being naked and slinging and whatever.
What?
Slanging that dog. Slang.
Dennis, would you?
No.
Like, say an OnlyFans model.
I wouldn't even date someone who posts thirst traps on Instagram. Bro.
Wow.
I really would, like,
for real?
No.
Why? No.
I don't know. I think it says something about your personality that you want attention in that way.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very thin line between what you're doing in that initial phase and what you can be made to do under the right circumstances, given the right type of attention. And that attention can be in whatever form it is. But yeah.
But then is there a perception thing? So the next thing I was going to ask is the way that, like what you had said, maybe if it's OnlyFans and the bag, etc., is the way that the girl at Pama Avenues is viewed different to the girl who's doing sex work on OnlyFans?
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely been desensitized, hey? When it's online, it looks like it's a bit more professional, and it looks like it's got a bit more protection versus you. It's like a woman who sells her fruit and veg on the road, and versus food lovers, right? Food lovers, they do the same line of business, but then it's how you package something sometimes, and that looks a bit like nah, I'm sick, I know, but food lovers, yes. So yeah.
Honestly, I just want that on record. Did you say OnlyFans is sex work?
Yes, it is.
No, that's fine.
It's sexual activity.
I'm not refusing. I'm just.
Oh, okay.
I want that to be clear.
Are you gonna bring it up soon? And keep that like mental note.
Try my clips.
You date a sex worker?
No, I could not.
At all?
At all.
Even OnlyFans?
None of it.
Even just like okay. Well, let's take it away from like the
You're gonna say selling toes? No.
No. Judge, no.
How did you know?
So even
if it's toes.
Bro, nah, bro. Like,
why are you selling stuff online?
So the simple gist of it for me.
Why am I selling T-shirts online? It's butt and toe.
Yeah. Their toes coming soon. Their feet pics. For me, so like physical contact is a very important part of like my relationships, and like it's a very important aspect of those things for me.
Yeah.
And so there is a sanctity in that for me, and it's like even the way that I dress personally, right? Like there are certain things that I would want to wear or don't wear because I have a partner, right? Because I'm like, honestly, the only person who should be seeing me naked or even half naked is my partner.
What would you like to wear that you're not wearing?
No, bro.
I'm interested. Is it like a Borax situation?
No,
Like,
not at all.
Oh,
No, but like,
you
so,
should put on your
like a shirt
crop top.
jacket. So there's so one of our friends is a designer, and he did like an opening for one of his stores, and like so I wanted to wear like a blazer with no shirt on the inside, right? And then we kind of had a conversation about it. I was like, actually, no, right? Because I wouldn't be comfortable with her dressing like that, right? You know, so it's like, no, that's fair enough. And so for me, honestly, could not do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because then it's better.
That blazer with no shirt inside is very slutty too.
Yeah.
We're not here to slut shame, Dennis.
I love it.
Okay, so my next question was gonna be if your body being a product in sex work is different to any other job.
No. You know, I believe like there's 7 billion people on this earth. There's some people, I mean, us three, because you didn't answer the question, we might not agree with dating a sex worker.
Actually, I do.
But there are other people who are very much like, my chick is exposed or my guy is exposed and I want that freaky shit. Bring that freaknik to me.
Yeah.
I like it and I love it. Yeah. So they've got their niche market. It might not apply to us, but they will. So I don't have a problem with you like monetizing yourself. More power to you, because life is tough, guys. And if you can do it, great. Yeah. But I don't have an issue with that.
Because if we're saying, okay, wait. First of
life
all,
is tough, bro. Have you tried selling tomatoes?
Yeah.
Exactly. But then, so first part, I wouldn't date a sex worker. Reason being, I'm just a very jealous person. It's a very selfish decision. It's not because I don't think sex work is important. I think that, do you boo-boo, but it's not my portion.
Right.
Feet pics, I'm amenable.
I mean...
Like,
let's talk about it.
Listen, everyone, you wear flip-flops, they're getting that for free.
Yeah.
Like, might as well put a price tag on it and give it to the highest bidder.
Yeah. But then at what point is that, people cheat for free all the time, so your person could be sleeping with other people for free. So why don't they at least get some money from it?
Yeah.
My lines are just so thin, guys.
But that's actually
lines. Yeah.
But that's actually
very brilliant.
But maybe if I knew.
It's a rocky road. It's one of those shaky bridges.
No, but okay, but I think maybe it'll. I think looking at sex is also like a product, and maybe that's why it sells so well. And maybe that's why prostitution is like the oldest profession.
I was gonna say.
Where did that sex work is the oldest profession thing come from?
I think that's true.
It's just been emanating for years.
No, it's true, because people have been selling their bodies since time immemorial.
Before they were farming?
Yes. I don't know.
Sex first.
But no. But also
That's how we
farming,
came here to the world.
Right? No, hold on, right? But then getting into the definitions of it, because at that point, right, farming was for subsistence. It wasn't that you were farming your shit and selling it to the village next door.
No, but you traded.
Right.
Barter trade.
Cool.
Yeah,
Right.
and there was currency.
No. But even then, right, kings would have harems, right? Like you'd have your hoes, bro. As a king, like you'd have your Adams.
Yeah, that wasn't sex
But
work
that's
though.
not
That's
sex work.
illegal.
No, wait, but you'd really go there and be like, Jack, I can do it. It's fine, right? Like rather than having to be someone else's wife or whatever.
People just make up funny stories and they just run with it. I've heard this so many times.
Because I had a question.
But there's no smoke without fire.
But we don't know, bro. I'll give you 3 cups of chubake. I'll give you 3 cups of chubake if you let me hit one time. Surely it was there.
But at farm first.
But exchange, guy.
But you found.
But how did you? Okay, how did you get here first?
To exchange.
It's like the chicken and the egg.
Actually, the question is the people
chicken
who were
and the
buying
egg.
the sex.
Yes, where did
What
they
were
get
they
the money?
buying?
No. Where did they get the
It was
money?
butter trading, Darren. Like I said, I got 3 cups of chubake if I can hit one time. Hey, Bo.
So you're a farmer.
There's a profession.
I'm a
that
farmer,
should
but the
do
person who's giving it up
And in fact,
is a prostitute.
In fact, you're a farmer, then you're a trader,
Yes.
and then you're a holy guy.
Hey, Bo, but the person who's giving it
money
up,
changes.
Maybe money changes in the middle there.
Jack, bro.
That's actually interesting because I had already written prostitution as the oldest profession. Why is that? But then, is it?
No.
I think let's.
Question maybe, right? But like, I think because obviously, in my opinion, right, it exists for some people where honestly, like their only commodity is their looks, and quite interestingly, a lot of those people are actually really intelligent. Right, where they're like, you know what, I'm actually really good looking, and I can make money from this stuff, right?
Or not good looking.
Or not exactly, or not good looking, but like there's Huns that sell their farts on the internet, right? Where it's just like
Pop it in a Ziploc bag.
yeah, like pop in a Ziploc bag. I'll sell it. There's one that I think it's like 18K. Anyway, right?
Yeah.
Why do you know the prices?
Yeah. But only if there's a market for what you're doing, please by all means.
Yeah, but then it's like even like the stripping culture in America. Like you have strippers who are like who've got degrees.
Yeah, we're in med school,
and
right?
med school they use it as a way to go to the next next stage in life. I'm gonna monetize my body to reach a certain level.
So would you date a previous sex worker?
Yeah.
Someone who was
a sex worker before out of
school.
net. Yeah.
Oh, and they're
they're
like,
not anymore.
nah. I mean, like if you fit the profile, like I also like a bit of freaky stuff.
Would you then, as someone who was previously a sex worker, they're not anymore, they don't post thirst traps on the gram, like they're reformed?
If I find your OnlyFans account from 5 years ago,
No, the OnlyFans is down.
Yeah,
like there's nothing anymore. It's done. They finished.
So like, would you date Mia Khalifa?
no, of course not.
Yeah.
No, but her stuff is still up.
Yeah, fair enough.
Is it?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Selling yourself outside. It's okay, boo.
We see.
I
We see.
would you like someone who was previously? They're not anymore. Everything about them is okay. Like
If
they're
it is-
pure now.
Okay, if it is now private again, right?
Yeah.
So like none of that stuff is up, whatever anymore.
Yeah.
I think I would, because it's not any different from someone who is just living their life,
Which
right?
is where I was gonna put the question again,
Right, like-
with the whole virginity conversation.
Yeah.
Because in many ways, I think it's kind of the same question. Whether you've been with 2 people or 7 people, because we've said body count doesn't matter, right? So whether it's with 2
exactly.
people,
Who said that?
or
Who's we?
Exactly.
This
side of the
Twitter said.
Twitter.
Twitter. We've established that Jazz gets all of the
Got it
information
back.
from Twitter.
Hello.
Because I mean, like, bro, there's definitely a line with this body count thing. Whether
Yeah,
the line is
no,
at 5,
yeah.
at 50,
I know there's
or at
definitely a
200 or
line.
1,000, there's a line.
Right.
So, my
human
question, right? And open question to you, why does it matter? Why are you asking that question?
What?
What is your body count? Why do you ask that question?
right?
I want to know what kind of person you are.
But if you said that you don't create soul ties from sex, why does it matter?
No, okay, you create soul ties from other things, right? Like in the process. So
If
I'm
it
not
wasn't a
assuming-
relationship,
I'm not
even.
assuming that the 300 people that you had were all one night stands, right?
300.
Some of those. You see, 300 sounds crazy, and I use 300 because when you say 300, everyone's like, "Eee, bro,
There's a number.
that's a bit much."
Yeah.
But it means that everyone has a number, right? 2, 3, it's calm. 6, 7, whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever. 12, 13, you know what I mean? But like everyone
50.
gets your point.
But then in many situations, because I actually watched this documentary about sex work.
Yeah.
This one. Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah.
No, so I watched this documentary, and it had people who were like, I've only ever been in 2 relationships,
Right.
even though they're like within the porn industry or whatever
Right.
industry.
Yeah.
How is that different? Like, what if my 300, 298 of them were
Because of
at
craft.
work?
Yeah.
I had to go buzz on that.
Yeah. It's a good advice.
Nah,
No, look,
like that's a wild number.
Because I
I don't know what does that do to your mental state of mind.
I'm gonna kind of argue both
Having to-
sides.
okay.
Right. So on one
The
side,
devil's advocate.
so on one side, I think, or at least my opinion, right, is that like having been in some relationships or having some experience is valuable.
Yeah.
Right? In the sense that if you've kind of started that journey or started to do those things, right, having gone through relationships or having had multiple partners will remove a lot of curiosity from what you are doing. It's kind of like, nah, I know what that looks like. Like, I'm not trying to do that shit at all, right? On the comparison side of it. On the other side of it, I think it can be damaging, because if you then, argument sake, you have 7 relationships and all of them are trash, you can then become a broken human being because you've had those 7 relationships where like if you hadn't had that and just had one partner, you'd been fine. But because the 7 people that you dated cheated on you.
Yeah.
When people talk about like wanting experience or wanting people with experience, like what is that experience that you want them to have? Because I would argue that, and I don't have a big sample size, but there's not a massive correlation between how much sexual experience someone has and how good that experience is. Like
Correct.
very often people are just people about
I always say sex is an
Correct. So where my stance sort of comes from, so where my stance sort of comes from is the idea that if, say for example, right, and you know, you want to go on TJ, for example, as an on, right? If that is within you as a person, or if that is something that you're curious about, if you don't do that before you get married, that's always going to be there, and you're always going to be like, oh no, but I want to see what that's like. Right, but which is a character thing, not necessarily that it's stipulated somehow. There are people who really aren't curious and they just kind of like, look, I'm as long as my person treats me well and I do this, I'm happy. Right, and for me, like that's where the experience thing comes from, right? Where it's like, so that's something that you were curious about or wanted to do, and you did that. So now when you're then trying to come and settle down, you're no longer wondering, what is it like to leave Pablo's at 4 a.m, right, with a random, because you went to Pablo's and left at 4 a.m with someone that you didn't know.
Well, TJ did.
and that also
I get you.
that all sounds like a lack of discipline though.
Which
You have
okay, so there was this little like survey situation that I was watching on YouTube,
Right.
and they had like sex workers there, and then they had virgins there, and that's where I actually thought about this video. And one of the questions that they asked was, do you feel like you make a difference in your occupation? Like in terms of as a question to the sex workers. And the responses that I heard were actually very interesting. So first of all, I'd want to ask you guys the same question. Do you think that sex workers make a difference to like the
Society.
world? Like, yeah, to society.
Yeah. You know, I believe in yin and yang. The providing a service. And I think in any business, it's about people first. And there are some people who just crave certain things. Some people have certain mindsets. Some people have got certain fantasies. So, you know, in order for the human race to move on, certain people want to be, you know, manhandled, they want to be cuddled, they want to be, you know. So when maybe you grew up in a certain environment where you had to be, you know, a bit like stiff, then a sex worker helps you to be flexible, and that's your release. And next day you become the president of the country, and it helps you not make terrible decisions. So I think
I'm with Bims. You're laughing, but I'm with Bims.
I think
I was like, that's the president.
They are
That's
necessity. They're necessity. Definitely.
This story started off at 6 work, ended up with the president. Do you know something we don't know, Binge? In this country where we've only ever had 2 presidents.
You know what? No. Example.
it
It was an EG. It was an EG.
RG.
No. Dennis, you know.
Cut.
You got
Jason.
please. You can go and watch Netflix for that content. What?
Stop it.
Dennis, do you think
Oh my word.
sex work makes a contribution to society?
I think they make a difference. I'm not entirely sure whether that difference is a net positive or negative. I think like anything else that involves like sexual indiscipline, right? So like pornography and sex work, etc. There's a very big chance that you're actually like damaging families, right? Like actual like, and I think that negative part of it it's hard to quantify because like we don't know what percentage of people are getting addicted to this and not taking care of their families. However, I would assume from the example that you're giving that there's also an argument for people who wouldn't otherwise have access to a basic physiological need, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, yo, this is where I can get it, and if they didn't get it in that way, we
They
also
wouldn't
don't know
get
another
it
way.
at all.
Or they become abusive and you know, they become rapists or whatever.
Yeah.
So if you have the option to do that, then you know
Yeah.
you can settle on that.
Yeah.
But like I think there are pros and cons. I don't know whether I think it's an overly positive or negative. But there is a difference that they're making for sure.
Interesting, because that's actually part of what the responses were. So it was like, and some of them I understood, some of them I was like, because it was like, okay, so the guy who knows that he's dying in a month from cancer and is bedridden, and he can't go to the club and get a girl.
Yeah.
So sex work becomes like a safe environment in which he can do those things.
Yeah.
Then there were some where it was like, you know, the married guy who hasn't had sex with their wife for X amount of time. They don't want to leave the relationship, but this is an essential part of the relationship that they're lacking.
Yeah.
And because they're in a safe environment with the sex worker, they can get those needs and then go on to be a better husband within marriage, even though they're not getting this physiological needs met. And then there was a saving lives situation as well, where it was like, you know, people who would otherwise, like what you say, be abusive, or they come in and they wanted to do something, but because, you know, for that moment they got some relief, then maybe they didn't go out and do whatever it is that they were contemplating on doing. The one that really struck me was the husbands and wives situation. Do you believe that sex work can save marriages?
Yes.
TJ.
Yes.
That was a quick yes, right?
Yes, no. And here's why, right? Because at least my experience is my own, excuse me, right? Is that there are times where sexual intimacy has been weaponized, right? Where it's like, I will not, and for me, like I said before, right? Like that physical contact is an essential aspect or part of a relationship across the board, right? It is like that for me, but I genuinely believe that it's important in terms of how you bond, that intimacy is necessary, right? And so in a situation where that is then weaponized or tried to use against you, where it's like, I won't have sex with you unless you do this or until you do that, right? I think that fucks up the entire principle of what that relationship is.
Yeah.
And where that person then standing there and being like, okay, so my wife won't have sex with me. I'm not, and then maybe you've got kids, right? So my wife is not having sex with me. I'm not trying to have a consistent side item or whatever. Like I don't want it. It's not a consistent thing that I want. Quite legitimately, all I want is sexual relief, right? Sex work in my mind provides that release, right? Where I think it is then a problem is if there has not been clear communication about that with your partner beforehand.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So if you just drink
like
that,
to tell your partner that
no. So what I'm saying is, so you haven't had the conversation to be like, bro, listen, intimacy is important to me. This is what I want to do. Johnny. I need to go. And then your partner still, you having said that and explained that, this is like, yeah, well, fuck you. I hold the power, blah, blah, blah. bro, wakaudzwa waramba ko iye anenge akuita zit anenge akuita plan yake.
Oh, so like a little cheating is okay, but with professionals.
Yeah.
No.
Do you believe sex workers can save marriages?
I mean, if now, whether it's the wife or the husband, because they're male sex workers as well.
Yeah.
If we're now stepping out and going and seeking pleasure outside the matrimonial home, I think the whole thing is broken down. Okay. Because I think sex is a very important part of us being you and me.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
because it's a way of being intimate. It's a way of communicating. It's a way of creating an inseparable communication. Because in we can have fun, you know. If you're not gonna, let's go upside down, then why are we in it? No, to be honest, why are we in it, And I think it boils down to respect, even for self, your body. This is my thing with my person. And if I'm comfortable having sex with someone else that's not you, the respect is no longer there and the love is just not there anymore. So I don't think it saves. It's actually you now just being selfish and just keeping up a front because of societal views.
Would you look at it different? Say you've been married to someone for like 20 years and then they cheat on you with some random date at Pablo's versus if they cheat on you with a prostitute.
No, there's already a problem. Cheating is cheating. Like, I don't care if it's a sex worker.
Yeah, but there's a difference.
No, there's no difference. For me, like I said, Tash, I think sex is also a bit of people really, okay, I know I'm going against what I just said, but yeah, people like to really exaggerate. Like, cheat, like, why would you do that? If we've got such a great sex life,
Bims, wait, no,
why are you fucking
no. So that was my point, right? If your sex life is
great
non-existent, then what's the plan?
What I'm saying, TJ, when it comes to that part of being non-existent, the problem has already been established. It's already done.
Okay.
I don't even go to the point of that public.
Okay, fair enough.
So I'm not going to address it.
Fair enough.
What if it's like just one of those like libido things, or what? You know what I mean? Like you just like
Okay, she's a finance chick. It's a one night stand. I'm drunk. Can we use that example?
No, like
within
the relationship.
Within the marriage, it's like low
say
sex drive.
you have a low sex drive, and your husband, like your sex drives don't match, and they have like a super high sex drive. So no matter how much you try,
it's not like there's no love. There's so much love.
In
I mean, also, okay, I think also communication helps, and I think if we can talk about it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, come on, guys. I mean, this is something that people go through all the time. If there's going to be an issue of having a second wife or a girlfriend, I think we need to talk about it. If
Would you rather have a second wife than him be with a prostitute?
I like the idea of sister wives.
Yeah.
But that's just been...
Well, you know what? To each their own.
That got turned on its whole head. On its whole head.
A sex worker saving marriages out there.
Absolutely not. There's nothing for any marriage ever.
Yeah, no, yes. It's already broken down. Yeah.
Dennis is not having.
No, because also integrity plays a big part, guys. And I'm coming from an angle of, sorry, I'm gonna get a bit like emotional about this. I'm coming from someone who's lost family to HIV and AIDS and STIs. It's not pretty. So integrity is a big part of relationships.
Yes.
So if you're going to have a sex work, you're not satisfying me, let me just, not be honest and just go release myself. And then that sex worker also not being professional, because I mean there are bumps, in the journey. Then one day something happens, they don't condomize, then she catches something, then you also catch something, then I also catch something. Then what?
That could happen with a normal person.
But we were just
you
using
might actually be more likely to catch something from a normal
but
person.
we're just saying like the breaking down of the relationships, you then venturing into seeking sexual pleasure elsewhere. That's where we're coming from, the conversations. And
So where I agree with Bims, and I think I said it before and she said it now, I think what then makes the separation is the idea of communication, right? If you were just getting hoes on the side, right, problematic, right? But like I said before, if you sit down and you're having that conversation, which is why we even posed the question to you, if you sat down, you've had that conversation, but because our 6 strands don't match, then what is then what's the option, right? Do you then leave in that situation, right? Yeah.
Go find someone who matches.
I'm hearing yeses from the audience.
There's a big yes from the audience.
Hey, audience.
I mean, I think we're, and I'm obviously not married, but I think we're understating how hard it is to have some of these conversations. Like, it's not just so, yo, bro, like my sex drive is a little bit higher than yours and yours is lower, so we can't fix this in the long term. So do you think maybe I should start seeing prostitutes? What? You are getting kicked out of that house.
And also, I've thought about this. If it's not prostitutes, how do you feel about like a sister wife situation? Like, how do we fit, bruh? So I had a question, and I should have asked this before, but then do you think, or do you look at it differently, the people who go into sex work out of necessity versus the people who go into it because they want to?
Yeah, for sure.
That's tough, but I also agree with Dennis.
I mean, it's like anything else. I
sell tomatoes.
My you don't always have the option to, but I think it's like anything else. And I'm not saying that this is an equivalency, right? But it's like someone who steals out of necessity versus someone who steals because they want to.
Yeah.
You have to be able to understand the mother who's trying to feed her kids by stealing a little bit more than the guy who's just stealing for the sake of it. And I think that's the same with sex work. That said, there's also no stigma, right? For the most part, it's a personal decision that someone has decided to make. I know I sound like the super conservative guy here, but like, I don't have an issue with you doing it. I'm just saying I personally wouldn't participate.
I think that my perception is that we look at it differently, but I don't think we should. Because at the end of the day, it's a job. Yeah. So it's different to the conversation about someone going into theft, and you already recognize that it's a different conversation because I'm not doing something illegal. Yeah. I'm going into a certain profession. Well, in places where it's not illegal, actually. Yeah. But like, it's like I'm going into a certain job that has certain stigmas, but a lot of customers, and it'd be the ones that are. Anyways,
but prostitution used to be illegal in Zim. Then it became.
It still is.
Red light district. I think it's now like
illegal, but it district.
It's now legal.
But it's still money on the street is also not legal.
Yeah. I know, but prostitution is now legal though.
No, it was decriminalized, but it's illegal still.
And
yeah, but like I said, you know, I feel like
I don't think so,
people are different, and I've gotten to a point in life where I accept people for their differences. Some people like to use their hands to work. Yeah. Some people like to use their minds to work. And some people like to, use their bodies. And most people, I think when you come from a place of you've used your hands to work, your minds to work, you cannot understand, like, why would you then, like I said to Janice, like, sell tomatoes. Like, I'd rather get to that point where I'm literally pamsika pangu and selling tomatoes before I go and be like,
but what
I'm a sex worker. Yeah. So I understand that you sometimes, that's why I say people are different. Sometimes, that's what you have. And you need to use what you then have to survive.
But what if I'm doing it because I want to? Like, I don't have to survive.
That's
there
also
isn't like some kind of survival.
I think that's
like come from a wealthy family. Like if I'm coming from a wealthy family, I've got a trust fund. Like everything in my life indicates that I don't have to.
More power to you, Anditi. If you get into it, wanting it, great, but don't come and then give us a TikTok like, oh, this was so traumatic. Yeah. I can't believe I went through this phase in my life.
I don't think that. No.
No.
I'm saying
two separate things, right?
So that's fine.
So there's a show on Showmax called The Body That Works For Me, right?
Yes.
And it's a bunch of like porn stars or like adults
from South Africa, yes,
right, or adult content creators, right? I watched the first episode, right? I didn't make it through the whole season, whatever, but it's really interesting to hear those perspectives, right? Because the approach, at least for those girls, is very much like, this is my craft, bro, right? Like, and I like it. I like what I do. And I'm passionate about it, and you know, and they talk about, you know, working with certain creators, the same approach that you'd have for any other fucking job.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I want to work with certain people. This is the type of content I want to create, quality, blah blah blah. You have your customer base and so on. So I'm like, oh, if you want to do it, sure,
go ahead.
And then there's this Hanu who's also got an OnlyFans, an English chick, who was being interviewed by Piers Morgan, right? And he was like, how would you feel then, you know, years later that your kids see this and they start crying and they're like, oh, mommy, you know, you used to be a porn star or whatever, Johnny. She's like, yeah, no, it's okay. They can cry in a Ferrari.
And fair enough, because also they shouldn't be crying about it anyways, because at that point maybe it'll be destigmatized and people won't look at sex work as if it's less than. My last question.
Can I just ask before we get into this last question? Your 19-year-old daughter decides she wants to go into sex work.
Jack.
How does that conversation go in your household?
Jack.
Bims.
You know what?
Bro, we don't do that here.
You don't do that here.
I'm sorry, no.
This is a review of the house.
I don't know. Because,
No, but then what if no, guys. I feel like what we've discussed, right? Most sex workers are needy. It's for provision, it's survival, it's a
job.
It's I'm at my wit's end, I need something and this is what I have, right? I don't know what environment I would have, you know, provided for my daughter to actually say, Mom, I want to be a sex worker. I mean,
but these people are talking about being in Ferraris, baby.
Yeah,
so
because she's Ferrari car, because she started at a point where she had nothing else but be on OnlyFans.
No. When you see the amount of money that people are making,
porn stars
and money too.
And even
that's how good that money is.
Do you know how long or how many?
Nah, bro. You know what?
I know, but guys, come on. If they've made enough money that they're now like
if it's your cabin, if I send you to school and shit, and it's your own house, and then you're like, JD, I'm now a porn star, and you're not living there. What, honestly, in my opinion, what can I do to control that? If you're living in my cabin,
no,
you are lying, Cap. You are lying.
That's because you think it's
not I'll give you the tomatoes to go and sell. It's fine.
Okay, it's like right now, like how we are all here are not sex workers. I think background and environment plays a big part. Yeah, no, it does. So that's why I'm saying I don't know what kind of environment and background.
But we're also not accountants, right? Like we're all not a lot of things here in this.
Yes.
And I think it's also very different how it used to be versus the trajectory we're going into now, especially with the accessibility and ownership of things like OnlyFans.
Yeah.
So like it's not as you used to have to be in a dire situation to do it anymore.
Right. Yeah.
These people are making bank. Let's even take it away from sex work. A lot of, and this is usually for sexual reasons, but you saw that girl, the
from TikTok,
gang,
ice cream,
ice cream so good, gang.
The TikTok chick was doing like ad-libs,
like with blonde hair, and people are like, she makes $7,000 a day.
Jesus.
And once people saw that, we laughed for a little bit, but
I know that some girl killed it, bro.
Because ultimately the lure is that this is actually a profession where I can make a span of money. Not anyone aspires to be a guard at a prison. But if you find out that this is going to make me a span of sheets, there comes a point where the money is enough to substantiate whatever stigma is attached to.
If my daughter is motivated by money and I'm motivated by making gang of money and I'm easy with selling my body, then more power to you.
Your daughter. One of Bims.
more power to you, girl. Like, more power to you. To be honest, more power to you. More power to you.
Not in
All
this
my life
lifetime.
I had to fight.
Not in this lifetime.
Anyway,
No.
There doesn't need to be a last question.
No, what?
Thank you guys for being on my panel. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next week.
They call me the Holy Ghost, Son of the Most, Father, they don't know me.